Good morning, I'm Shenna and I'm with AKA by Design. And this morning I'm going to show you how to do a layered dry brush technique using a couple different colors. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use these colors and really kind of layer them up to create a unique look on my piece, and I'm going to do that by dry brushing it. The colors that I have Lime Thyme, Antique Verde, Snow White, a little bit of jewel, some peacock, and then I also have a little bit of gray just in case the colors get too bright and I want to tone it back a bit. So I'm going to start with 2 dry brushes. I didn't put any water or anything on them, and then I do have a paper towel just so I can kind of dab off some paint if I need to. And the reason why I did 2 brushes is because once I start working, my colors are going to start to blend. So by going back and forth with the brushes, I'm going to have different colors in them, which again is just going to allow me to layer up a bit. So I'm just going to start by just putting a little bit of paint on my brush, and I mean I'm just using a little bit, and then I'm actually going to just kind of wipe some of that off, and then I'm just going to start just kind of moving down my piece until I really run out of paint, and then I'm just going to dab. I'm using the same color. I'm going to dab it off. You can see everywhere where I'm starting again, just because there's a little bit more paint on the brush. And I'm really not trying to blend it in because I want it to look layered, streaky, and just kind of have its own kind of unique flair to it. I'm going to move on to a little bit of Lime Thyme. Again, I'm going to dry it off a little bit just to make sure that it's not all goopy on my brush. And that's really bright, so I'm glad that I did that as an underneath color. I'm going to just kind of move on. I'm just going to kind of keep dabbing. I'm going to dab the paint off. I'm going to just keep going over my piece a little bit just to make sure that I'm kind of getting all the colors. And then I'm going to dry off my brush. Now I'm going to add a little bit of white and peacock and just mix it up a bit. And I'm just going to keep brushing there. And so one thing that I will want to point out is I'm getting to the point where I have quite a bit of paint now, and so it's going to start to blend together, and I just want to be careful because really I don't want this to be all one color. I want it to look like it's layered in different colors, so the last thing I want to do is mix it. So I'm just kind of in this spot, I'm just really going to rub it out, that way it kind of dries up. And then really as I'm working with my piece, I mean it does dry pretty quick because I am using just a tad of paint each time. So I'm just going to kind of go around my handmade color wheel here and get a little bit more paint, keep rubbing it in. I am going to take a little break and grab a new brush. I'm just going to kind of keep working at it. I'm going to add some white. And so I'm just going to keep dabbing and putting on there. I saw this piece at Arhaus that I fell in love with. It was really just a layered hodgepodge of colors, and I thought it was so cool and definitely something that I could make with Shabby Paints. I absolutely love working with Shabby Paints because they're just a versatile paint. You can dry brush, you can water them down, you can let them thicken up a little bit. So however you like to use your paint, you can definitely do that with Shabby Paints. You can mix the colors, you can mix paints with shimmers to give a little bit of shimmery look to your paint. So there's really, just a plethora of things that you can do with Shabby Paints that I feel like you can't do with latex or other brands. And one of the things that I will say about Shabby Paints, and the reason that I use Shabby Paints, is because it is a VOC product, and as you can see, I'm painting in my home. I have children, so it is safe for the environment. It's safe for my home. I'm not putting toxins into my air. There were other paint brands that I used, and my kids would always tell me how bad the house smelled, and I really didn't want to do that any longer, and I'm so thankful for finding the Shabby Paints family because it really is a great company, and it's been a great opportunity for me. So if you're watching this, I'm sure you're watching it because you also love Shabby Paints as well, and you're just trying to learn a little bit more and really kind of see the versatility of the paint. So I'm just kind of going to keep doing this here. I don't want to be redundant. I know you're probably tired of watching me just paint the piece, but as you can see, every time that I go back to my plate, I'm just grabbing a new color, and I'm just, putting the color on ever so lightly just to kind of create that layered. So as I get a good base down, what you can see is that now as I start to put different colors on, they're getting a little bit more pronounced, which is what I want it to do. So I've got a good base of the greens and the blues, and so now I kind of want to just go over it a little bit with my white to kind of give it just a really big layer of dimension, which is exactly what I'm looking for. And then I'm just going to kind of, again, rub that in. I'm going to keep going back. And you can do this with any colors. I mean, truly, any of your favorite colors would work well with this. You know, you have a daughter and she likes pinks and purples. You can definitely use pinks and purples and whites and grays. So you're really not limited to the color palette that I'm using. So, you know, get creative. Really what I did here was I had a bunch of paint open, so this was a good opportunity for me to use up some paint and really kind of create a really cool and unique piece. So I just added a little bit of gray here, and you can see where the gray really kind of toned it down a bit, which is exactly what I needed because I just felt like it was getting a little bit too heavy with the blues and with the greens. So I'm going to just add a little bit of gray just kind of around the border here and blend it in. And then I'm going to do that as well. Over here, I will say that I started with a base of ice, so it is a very light gray, and it's a really nice color that goes on pretty quickly. It's got some nice pigment to it, even though it's a light color. The grays that we have ice, we have Lillian gray, and then there's also Garfield gray, so we do have a wide range of grays as well if you're a gray person like me and love to use grays. I think this is looking pretty good. It's kind of where I want it to be. I want to add a little bit more white to it, ever so lightly, and then I'm going to add just a little bit more gray. So I think I'm done. This is exactly what I wanted it to look like. To me, it kind of looks like a watercolor, and then I'm going to pull the camera over here so you can see it a little bit better. And you can see this is where I kind of have my grays. Down here in the bottom, I have my gray as well, and that mixed with my lime thyme, which kind of gives it a mossy look. So with these colors right here, I was able to create this beautiful piece, which I absolutely love, and now I'm going to have to start working on all the other sides here. So that's that. So this took me about 5 minutes to do. I'm going to do it around the rest of it, and then I'm going to seal it with either a wax or a varnish. I haven't decided yet, probably whatever I see first and I grab. Shabby has the top coat protectors, so there's a sheer wax and there's also a varnish. The wax will finish with more of a matte finish, and the varnish is going to have a bit more of a shine, but the protection is going to be the same. I probably will not use a revax, which is kind of that colored vinyl top coat that gives that extra layer and dimension, just because I've got a lot of layers and dimensions here already. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, I'm Shanna Gonzalez with AKA by Design. My website's akabydesign.net, or you can reach out to any of your other local or shabby stylists that's nearest you, and you can find your shabby stylist nearest you at shabbypaints.com. Thanks. Have a great day.